Cabinet has finally given an answer over the protest and paper leak and come up with the solution. Welcome back to the latest update series of Drishti IAS. This is Divya Kawatra, and today we are discussing what Cabinet has discussed yesterday and what kind of resolutions have been provided, what kind of promises have been made, and there's a bill coming forward, as we can see. Let's understand all of that regarding the paper leak reforms that has been discussed in the Cabinet. All right, what steps have been taken, what solutions have been given? We'll answer all those questions one by one. First of all, what has happened is Union Cabinet has approved stricter amendments to the anti-paper leak law. We already have an existing law. In the previous video, we have already discussed that. But amidst these laws, we need stricter amendments. That is being done. Then formally, they've enhanced prevention of paper leak framework following a nationwide student protest and concerns over competitive examination irregularities. Right? Yeah. So what are the decisions and penalties that the Cabinet has finally given? Apart from firing a lot of employees of NTA, there are other major steps as well. All right. Apart from that, there are other major steps as well. Like number one, they've increased the jail term. In the law and the reforms, what they've done is they've increased the jail term. That means the minimum imprisonment for individuals convicted for paper leak offences has been raised from 3 years to 5 years. How much? From 3 to 5. Right? But the maximum sentence can even reach to 10 years. That depends upon the offence. Secondly, hefty financial fines. Monetary penalties have been drastically scaled up, with allowing fines up to 10 crore against offenders and organized syndicates. How much? 10 crores. Right? And then fast track legal processing. Government announced the plan to establish fast track courts specifically dedicated to paper leak cases to ensure speedy trials and avoid prolonged litigation delays. Right? And then the urgent parliamentary passage also. Prime Minister instructed that the bill face no delays and be presented in the Parliament immediately and let it get passed and let it formulate a proper law, a proper maneuver finally in the country against paper leak that is largely affecting students of country. Right? These are the decisions that have been taken. Then secondly, addressing student protests and demands. Addressing to the protest, addressing to the demands, there have been some statements issued, like Cabinet's decision accompanying executive committees has directly addressed the key demands raised during recent student demonstrations and the protests at Jantar Mantar and Sonam Wangchuk's fast. What has been done? Protection for protecting aspirants. Government gave in principle approval to withdraw FIRs, legal cases that have been registered against students who participated in the peaceful protest. If there are any FIRs against you, if you were peaceful, provided you were peaceful, that will be done. Then ex gratia compensation, in principle approval was granted for financial compensation to families of aspirants who tragically died by suicide in the wake of exam leak controversies. There were many deaths, as we remember, after the NEET paper, many suicide notes were found. Many of the students passed away. Because of that, compensation will be given to the families. Focusing on mafias over candidates, legal framework is designed to target paper leak syndicates, printing press actors, rogue service providers, rather than penalizing innocent candidates that are caught in the fire. Okay, they're saying that you are just caught in the crossfire, it is not your fault. The fault lies at paper leak syndicates, printing press actors, rogue service providers. They are the reason behind this. Right? Exactly. And finally, there's a testing agency overhaul. A testing agency overhaul where executive branch has initiated administrative cleanups, including the removal of rogue officials and structural overhauls within the testing agencies like NTA. This should not happen. That's why the firing has been done, replacing is being done so that new employees can come forward with the new agendas and the system can work in a fresh manner. Right? That is the testing agency. Clear? Yeah. But to understand what was like the root cause behind this crisis, why did this happen, how did this happen, what exactly happened? Let's understand that. Number one, it was outsourcing vulnerabilities, right? The problem is not where the paper is created, but they are outsourced. Where are we outsourcing it? Massive shift towards private third-party vendors. Why? for computer-based testing centers, question paper printing without rigorous security audits. All this is happening where at the private vendors outside of the circle of governmental procedures, right? And then institutional overreach is there. Agencies like NTA handling dozens of massive high-stake exams like NEET, CUET, JEE simultaneously without permanent in-house cadre. They don't really have a permanent in-house cadre, so structural or institutional overreach is also there. So basically we need institutional reforms as well. What is this highlighting? That it is not just about the procedure, it is about the institution itself, right? That needs revamping. Clear? Next, huge demand supply mismatch. Millions of applicants competing for a minute fraction of public sector job creates lucrative shadow economy for league syndicates, right? It is a huge shadow economy for league syndicates because they know so many students are working hard, and if they get the chance, they will take the papers and they will obviously like to be benefited from that, right? And that creates demand, and then they give the supply, and an economy is created there, right? So huge demand supply mismatch is there. Along with that, one thing that you need to remember is Dr. K. Radhakrishnan Committee. All right, this is formed by Ministry of Education to overhaul NTA. Its key recommendations. What were the recommendations of Dr. K. Radhakrishnan Committee? Hybrid testing model. First of all, they gave hybrid testing model, that is conducting preliminary screening online and core subject evaluations on paper where logistically necessary. Okay. Second, in-housing examination infrastructure. Reduce reliance on outsourced private exam centers in favor of government infrastructure like Kendriya Vidyalayas, IITs, NITs. So don't outsource it to private, but keep it in the house. Keep it in the house. And then multi-stage exam, introducing two-tier screening for massive entrance exams to reduce high stakes pressure of a single day test, right? You work hard continuously for a year long, every day, every single day, and then just one day decides your whole future. Right, the pressure of that mounting up on students of such tender age, how is that good? How is that good? So let's give them another option. Let it be in phases, let it be in 2 tiers, so that they know that if this paper didn't go well, I'll do better in the next, I'll be able to do something out of it, and that way the pressure also becomes a little bit less, right? Pressure of competitive exam will always be there, right? But since you chose to prepare for it, you are preparing yourself for the pressure as well. Hopefully, you're doing that. In case there is still some pressure, if you conduct it in 2 tiers, they will still have hope that, okay, if first one doesn't go well, I'll do better in second. And even if it doesn't go well in 2 phases, they have time to mentally prepare themselves for it, right? And that really helps. That really helps, because in life, career can be of different choices. But at the same point, in single day, when you see your entire life crashing down at the age of 18, maybe 16, maybe 15, maybe, it is very difficult. It is very difficult. You have not lived that long as much as you are expecting from the child. Clear? So that should not be done. To release that pressure, they have said that there should be 2-tier screening of massive entrance exams. Right? These are the recommendations of Dr. K. Radhakrishnan Committee. But then if we look at it, there's a federal angle to it that is a little bit problematic. Okay. Why is it problematic? Let's understand. Federal angle is there. Why? Because in the concurrent list, let's third entry 25, education falls under concurrent list. Now state level precedents are there. Several states have enacted tough anti-paper leak laws prior to the central act, like Rajasthan 2022 Act, Gujarat, Uttarakhand, ordinance, right? They brought it through ordinance. Just imagine how emergent, how important they thought the issue or the topic to be, that they took it into emergency. Right? Now, model law synergies, their central law serves as a model framework for states to align their state PCS regulations and prevent interstate paper leak cartels. Right? Like we know in Rajasthan, several paper leaks happened, and after that, at that point also, there was a lot of protest, a lot of questions on the government, a lot of questions on the system, administration, everybody. Right? And since then, the act came, and after that, a lot of things have improved. A lot of things have improved. Right? Really. But then again, obviously there are people who still want to destroy it. So that keeps happening. But other than that, many improvements can be seen in the system, right? So it works if you try to implement it in a better way. Now the center model will become example for other states also who don't have that yet. It will become a model for other states. They can also implement this, they can adopt this and start working on it, right? And for state PCS also, obviously that is required. Clear? That is the federal angle. But now the main question rises is, when I was talking to a few students, they said that, okay, ma'am, a lot has been done, but the problem is, how is it any different from what was already there? Like, we already had a law, we already were punishing for that. If that couldn't prevent it, what would the new law do now, right? But see, there are a lot of differences, a lot of improvements that are happening that is creating an environment of fear, right? We cannot stop anybody from murdering someone, right? Can we do that? That is why there is law. You provide justice after the crime is done. Before the crime is done, you can only have what? Detention, right? But that is not possible in every case. So what happens is, once it is done, at least after that there should be justice, such a justice that becomes an example for other people that you should not do this, otherwise you will also suffer the same fate. It is a fear of law that ultimately leads people to the right direction, right? If not morality. First of all, obviously there is morality, social compass, but if that doesn't work, law is there to create the fear. Maybe the fear that previous law was creating was not enough. So this time we've made several improvements so that whenever somebody thinks about doing this, once they look at this law, once they understand that if we get caught, what will happen, they might have to think twice before doing any such thing, right? So what are the differences? Let's take a look at that. Minimum imprisonment, we see earlier it was 3 years for general paper leak offences. Now it is 5 years minimum baseline. It can go up to 10 years, right? Maximum penalty was up to 1 crore for organized service providers. Now it is 10 crore, a massive financial debt. Giving 10 crore, even for a syndicate, this is too much. Even if it is a syndicate, even if it is an organization, still it is too much for them, right? They will never be able to get out of it. Trial timeline, standard judicial procedure leading to years of trial, years of struggle. But now dedicated fast track courts in a time bound prosecution. Huge change. Then, because earlier everybody thought, okay, it is a case, it will keep going on for years. By then we will fly off somewhere. They keep thinking that. Now they know that it will be very fast track. Before they even think about finding a way to get out of the country, they'll be caught. Prosecution will be there for them, right? Exactly. Then stance on protesting students. Earlier, protesters faced legal charges, FIRs under standard IPC, BNS provisions whenever there were demonstrations. This time, withdrawal of cases has been done against non-violent, please focus on that, against non-violent student protesters, and institutional relief measures are also given at the same time. This is the difference that has been done. Still, a lot is to be done. There's a lot more that we have to do. It is not just enough, right? Implementing agencies have to work on it. NTA has to fulfill the demands, and then NTA has to revamp itself, restructure itself, because there are still many institutional drawbacks that we need to cover up, right? This is a good initiative, but not the best one, because we still have a lot to do. If you don't do institutional revamping, all this will go into vain, right? So we have a long way to go. We will go till that, but for now, this is what has happened. I hope this is clear. I hope you understand what paper leak reforms are, what the recent reforms that have been brought down by the cabinet, and how are they going to help us in the further investigations. Yes? All right. So we have a question for you based on this. Read the question, give us your answer in the comment section. That's about it. That was our issue for the day, where we discussed regarding the recent reforms that have been taken up after a long time of protest, right? Finally, a small win, I would call it, a small win, but a long way to go, a long way to go, right? Do you agree with that? Do we still have a long way to go? Yes? All right, let's see where it takes us, and let's hope for the best, all right? That's about it. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.